A young, ambitious boxer on the rise gets a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to train with his idol, Mike Tyson. But he soon discovers that the legend's power comes from a dark, hidden place, and that some doors are best left unopened. The letter arrived on a Tuesday, crisp and white against the backdrop of my dingy gym locker. It was an invitation to train with the Mike Tyson. Not the faded legend of recent years, but a private, exclusive camp far from the public eye. It was a chance to learn from the best, to tap into the raw power that had made Tyson a global icon. My name is Danny the Babisit, Bahavishyat Future, Hayes, and I was a rising star in the boxing world. I had the talent, the drive, the hunger to be a champion, but I lacked that edge, that primal ferocity that separated the good from the great. That's what I hoped to find at Tyson's camp. I packed my bags, ignoring the Mardu Apti, Maridu Apti, Mardu Apti, Mardu Apti, Mardu Apti, mild objections, of my trainer, old Mickey, who muttered something about playing with fire and deals with the devil. He'd seen too many fighters chewed up and spat out by the sport, their dreams turned to dust. I was young, arrogant. I thought I was different. The camp was located in a remote, desolate part of the Nevada desert, a sprawling compound surrounded by high walls and barbed wire. It felt more like a prison than a training facility. As I drove through the gates, a shiver ran down my spine. This was it. There was no turning back. There were only a handful of other fighters at the camp, each hand-picked by Tyson himself. They were all young, hungry, and desperate to prove themselves. But they also seemed on edge, nervous, like they were hiding something. The training was brutal, relentless. Tyson, though older, was still a force of nature. He moved with a speed and power that defied his age, his eyes burning with the same intensity that had made him the most feared man on the planet. But it wasn't just physical training. Tyson focused on the mental game, on unlocking the primal rage that he believed was the key to victory. He spoke of channeling your inner beast, of embracing the darkness, of becoming a predator in the ring. He pushed us to our limits, and then he pushed us further. He made us spar until we could barely stand, until our bodies were bruised and bloody, until our minds were numb with exhaustion. He made us watch old footage of his fights over and over again, until the images of his brutal knockouts were seared into our brains. And then there were the night sessions. The night sessions were held in a separate building, a dimly lit concrete structure that resembled a bunker. We weren't allowed to talk about them, to even acknowledge their existence outside of those walls. During these sessions, Tyson would lead us through a series of bizarre rituals, strange exercises that seemed to have no connection to boxing. We would chant in unison, our voices echoing in the darkness. We would meditate in complete silence, focusing on the darkness within ourselves. We would stare into a flickering candle flame until our vision blurred and the shadows danced. And always, Tyson would be there, watching us, his eyes gleaming in the darkness. He would speak of a power, a force that resided within all of us, a power that could be unlocked, a power that could make us invincible. He called it the iron within, but it felt like something else, something darker, something ancient. I started to notice changes in the other fighters. They became more aggressive, more volatile, their eyes taking on a strange, unsettling gleam. They were losing themselves, becoming consumed by the darkness that Tyson was cultivating within them. And I was starting to feel it too. The whispers in the back of my mind, the growing rage, the urge to unleash the beast within. One night, during a particularly intense sparring session, I snapped. I lost control. I felt the iron within surge through me, a wave of pure, unadulterated rage. I lashed out at my opponent, a young fighter named Marcus, with a ferocity I had never known before. I don't remember much of what happened next. Just a blur of fists, blood, and screams. When I finally came to, Marcus was lying on the ground, unconscious. His ear was gone. I had bitten it off, just like Tyson. The other fighters looked at me with a mixture of fear and awe. Tyson just smiled, a cold, knowing smile that sent shivers down my spine. "You're learning," he said, his voice a low growl. "You're embracing the darkness. You're becoming one of us." That night, I couldn't sleep. The image of Marcus's arc-tacked, bloodied face, the sound of his screams, the taste of blood in my mouth, it all haunted me. I knew I had to get out of there, away from Tyson, away from the camp, away from the darkness that was consuming me. I crept out of my room, my heart pounding in my chest. I had to find out the truth about Tyson, about the iron within, about the source of his power. I made my way to Tyson's private quarters, a lavish suite that was off limits to the rest of us. I slipped inside, my senses on high alert. The room was filled with strange artifacts, tribal masks, ancient weapons, and books on the occult. And then I saw it. A hidden chamber, concealed behind a bookcase. I pushed the bookcase aside and stepped inside. The chamber was small and dark, and filled with a strange, pulsating energy. In the center of the room, on a raised platform, was a cage. And inside the cage was it. It wasn't human. It wasn't even animal. It was something else, something ancient and monstrous. It was a creature of pure shadow, its form constantly shifting, its eyes burning with a malevolent red light. It was the source of Tyson's power, the source of the iron within, the source of the darkness. As I stared at the creature, I heard a voice in my head, a voice that was both familiar and alien. It was Tyson's voice, but it was also the voice of the creature merged into one. "You see now," the voice whispered. "You understand. This is the true power. This is the seventh step, and now it's yours." I ran. I ran from the camp, from the desert, from the darkness that had almost consumed me. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. I never looked back. I tried to warn others, to tell them the truth about Tyson, about the creature, about the iron within. But no one believed me. They called me crazy, a liar, a has-been who couldn't handle the pressure. Now I live in the shadows, a fugitive, haunted by the things I've seen, by the things I've done. I see the mark of the beast everywhere, in the eyes of power-hungry men, in the violence that plagues our world. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I can still hear the whispers of the other, the whispers of the darkness that lurks within us all, the darkness that waits for its chance to break free, the darkness that Mike Tyson, willingly or not, unleashed upon the world. And I know it is only a matter of time before it returns, before the next iron rises, before the next legend falls, before the next bite, because the hunger never truly dies. It only waits, growing stronger in the shadows, for the seventh step to be taken again, and again and again, until we are all consumed. It is only a matter of time. He will find his next disciple. The sport will never be the same.